you believe in the existence of extraterrestrials?
Good morning, good evening, or good afternoon, depending on where and when you're watching this broadcast. I'm Thomas Fessler, my friends, and this is Disclosure Tonight. Happy Friday, August 1st. Would you look at that? We're in the 8th month of the year, and disclosure still hasn't happened. Are you surprised, folks? No hearings, nothing's here yet, but you know what? There are things on the way that we get to talk about. So I'm not going to say buckle up or buckle in or strap in, because someone's going to bring out the strap on that foot. On that note, let me go ahead and find who else out in the audience and welcome you all in. Who do we have out there? We've got Amiga Rules as Real Aries here, along with Brendan England. I see Kathy Spire, Craig, and CT Whale. We've got Dana Scully's in the audience, along with Dragon Rider FPV. Eli McGinnis is here, along with Firefly, Frank Cathell, Frazzle Says, and Geraldine Durazio. Good to see you, Geraldine. Red Jedi's here, along with Gringo Suave. We got Howling Husky, Idaho, Strong, JB, Jan, Jason, Kelly Brote, and those piercing blue eyes. Good to see you, Kelly. We got Maritime Unprepared, along with Michael Huang in the chat. Good. The chat is where it's at, my friends. Mr. X is here, along with Mr. Joey B, and Necessary Dialogue. Niles Guy's here, along with Paul Frederick. We've got PC Anderson, Peter Tremulous, Pip Dennison, Rainbow, also known as Jane, is in the chat, along with Reality Check VIP. Rodney Cox is here, along with Sam, Steve Hines, the Super Unknowns in the chat. We've also got the Chromosome Cowboy, the Coin 405. Nice tweets, my friend. Truck and Pawpaws here, along with two midgets on a horse, Wee Beastie. And, of course, William Underwood. How about that? I made it to the end before we got to the end. On that note, let me go ahead and jump into the studio. Yes, I need to fix myself, put myself back to the middle again. How did I get in? It's called work, I guess. Let me fix this one sec. Screw it. Let's just... Oh, I got to fix that. Why can't I find my camera? I know I'm in here somewhere. FX30. Here we go. Slide me across. Boing. Yes, we've got an interesting story here today. While usually we have fun with Avi Loeb referencing him to a different name, he actually is making some common sense these days, talking about is there an incoming interstellar invasion? Is that new interstellar object coming in to our solar system, potentially of a non-human intelligence? Someone who wants us to go ahead and redirect our Juno spacecraft to go ahead and check it out. But you know what? It's not just him. He's getting people from Congress like Paulina Luna to talk about this. But before we jump into the story, Mike, how you doing, my friend?
Oh, I'm doing well. We have a Friday night show. We have a lot of interesting things to cover. This is going to be interesting tonight.
Yeah.
We're going to have fun. Yeah.
It should be, my friends. We may be on the opposite side of the spectrum on this one, but let's go ahead and see where it goes. And more important, we'll find out what the audience thinks once we get to that point. That's always an important part of our show. On that note, let's go ahead and bring up the first part that came up a little bit earlier this week of Avi Loeb over on News Nation, talking about just why and what he wants to do and why he could think it's important. Let's go ahead and jump into this story before we turn into Pillars of Salt. Where is that? Video full. All right, here we go, everybody. Let me get this arranged, and let's rock and roll. Here we go.
Because it has anomalies. It moves on a trajectory that is very unusual. It is aligned with the orbit of the Earth around the Sun, and it will get extremely close to the inner planets like for example, Jupiter, Mars, or Venus. It will arrive closest to the Sun when the Earth is on the opposite side, so we won't be able to look at it. And that's the point where a spacecraft could make a maneuver to slow down. And it's coming from the direction of the Milky Way galaxy, the center of the Milky Way galaxy, where the sky is very crowded with stars. So that's why it took a while to notice it. And altogether, the chance of this trajectory is less than 0.2% to be aligned with the orbit of the Earth around the Sun, less than 1 part in 20,000 to arrive so close to the other planets. And one wonders, could it be design trajectory. And I'm not saying that we know, but I'm saying that we need to collect more data to figure out the nature of this object. And if it turns out to be a comet, if it's surrounded by a beautiful cometary tail that is glowing in the sunlight as it gets closer to the sun, so be it. But from now on, the Rubin Observatory in Chile will discover a new interstellar object every few months. And my point is, we should check whether any of these objects might be technological in origin, because it's a security risk to Earth.
Right. How do you check that? So it's interesting you mentioned about the trail that might indicate it's a comet. What would be the signs that it's not a comet?
Well, so I suggest first establishing a scale of risk from interstellar objects, similar to the Richter scale for the risk from earthquakes. A 0 would mean that we identify a beautiful tail, and it looks just like a regular comet. We can infer the composition of the tail. It's similar to comets. A 10 would mean that the object maneuvers in ways that cannot be explained by the force of gravity, that there must be an engine in it, or it has an unusual shape, or it has artificial lights. And there should be an organization that decides whether an incoming object could be a risk, because we talk a lot about existential risks from artificial intelligence, from climate change, from an asteroid that may impact the Earth, but we don't talk at all about the possibility of alien tech. And I think we should take it into consideration, because we sent out spacecraft that would leave the solar system.
Well, let's talk about that for a second. So it is estimated to be about 12 miles long, okay? You, and correct me if I'm wrong, you want to use NASA's Juno spacecraft to intercept the path of that. It has instruments that could study it. It could change the trajectory of the orbit. Can you explain a little bit more how this would work?
Yeah, so we should take advantage of the fact that it comes so close to Jupiter. It's quite amazing. If you look at Jupiter's orbit, it just gets to the point where 3I Atlas will be on the 16th of March, 2026. And I calculated that if we give a small kick to Juno of 2.6 kilometers per second, just around the time when NASA was thinking of just sinking it into Jupiter, because it's the end of the mission. And I'm saying, instead of letting it dive into Jupiter, just kick it out away from Jupiter, then with the right orientation, it will actually intercept the path of 3I Atlas. And it's an amazing opportunity for us to learn much more about this object, because we can't launch any rocket from Earth that would intercept this object. It's moving too fast relative to Earth, in the opposite direction of the motion of Earth around the sun.
You wrote that if this 3I Atlas is a technological artifact, it could be evidence of the dark forest hypothesis. What is that?
That's one of the solutions to Fermi's paradox, which is the question, where is everybody? And of course, it's possible that aliens are out there, but they are worried about predators, and therefore they're silent, as if they are in a dark forest. And if they see a civilization like ours, a young technological civilization that gets more powerful over time, and they are listening to us, they might send a probe or a spacecraft on a reconnaissance mission, or with some other goals. And we should be ready for that. We should monitor the sky and be aware of that potential possibility, and just ignoring it is not intelligent on our behalf.
There we go. Great words coming in from Avi Loeb. Just to kind of recap some of the science behind the conversation of what Avi's been talking about here. Let me go ahead and bring myself and Mike back into the studio again. All right, here we go. Make this a little bit larger for everybody to go ahead and see. All right, so by August 5th, 3 key observable milestones. We're talking just 4 days away, folks. So we'll determine whether it holds up as a natural object or if we're facing a far more consequential anomaly. To recap, 3I Atlas exhibits currently has a sunward pointing coma, which defies the laws of radiation pressure at this distance. Now, there's also, looking through our telescopes that can detect elements. There are 0 detectable volatiles such as carbon monoxide, carbon dioxide, or a highly toxic cyanide ion, which are generally present on all comets. It also has a disproportionately small cone, 24 kilometers wide, and an 11-kilometer core, compared to Borisov's, which is another one that came through, at 160,000 kilometer coma. NASA has described the object as atypical, but if by October 5th it fails to reorient its coma away from the sun, emit volatile gases, or expand its coma significantly, the natural comet hypothesis will be much harder to close in on. Mike, your thoughts so far?
Well, I'm actually surprised that I'm going to say this, but I agree with Avi's proposal to divert the probe to intercept this object, especially considering they were going to crash it into Saturn anyway. It's the end of mission. It's actually a pretty good idea that he has.
Yeah, he does.
Not letting it go to waste. I didn't expect that he would actually come up with such an intriguing idea with this object. I feel that he's always gone down the same rabbit hole with Oumuamua and these alleged interstellar objects. But you know what? With this object, because of its approach to the sun in our solar system, and we already have something out there that it's going to be going right by, and we're going to destroy it anyway, he's absolutely right to want to nudge it in the way and get as much information as we can. Even scientifically, even if it is turn out to be a rock. Yeah, it's not a wasted opportunity. So I'm really surprised to hear myself agreeing with
I know
like that, but
I felt that I almost kind of feel dirty a little bit, but
I know, almost like you need a shower. I know. Yeah,
but you know what, Mike, I have to tell you this: if you use plenty of salt, eating your hat is not so bad.
Well, I wouldn't go that far, but we'll see what this object turns out to be. I still believe it's a rock.
Yeah.
And if they use the probe, which we don't even have any confirmation that NASA would even do something like that, but if they do, and they might, this would be a good scientific opportunity just to see what these things are.
You know, if it was China in our position, we had a probe out there that could be redirected, or they had a probe out there they could redirect to go intercept this and know something they're going to destroy, they do it in a heartbeat. Look what the Chinese did, the Chinese space program did on the moon when they were on the dark side of the moon. When they first got down, they're doing their observations, getting the little rover moving along. Off in the distance, they saw something that looked like a structure, like a house or something like that. And they took the overall, the rover, and redirected it. It took weeks to go ahead and get there, but they're in the area of discovery. And it seems that our NASA, for the loudest time, is a bit hoity-toity, and they've got their things, and they want to do it their way, like a scientism kind of approach that, you know, if there's something we have an opportunity, I say go for it. But we're not alone, are we, Mike?
I agree. No, you're right.
Yeah.
Well, maybe Representative Luna can talk some sense into that.
Yeah. Speaking of Luna, this is a tweet that came from her how many hours ago? Came out earlier, 1:27 p.m. my time, which is about 5 hours ago. What does she say? I'm urging NASA to extend the Juno mission to study interstellar object 31 Atlas, and it's actually 3I Atlas, but or 3L Atlas. Either way, I took it from here. Sorry, I got Anna Paulina Luna's wrong spelling on it, but that's okay. Thank you, Avi Loeb, for your continued dedication to exploring our universe. We must seize this opportunity for a groundbreaking discovery. I agree. So let's get into the letter that Anna Paulina Luna, I think she may have had help from Avi Loeb putting this together, because this is a pretty good letter. I'm impressed.
She may have. And under the circumstances, if she did,
good for her.
She could use all the help she can get. Yeah. That's fine.
So this is coming from the Congress of the United States, House of Representatives. That's their standard letterhead for Anna Paulina Luna. So let's get into it. Going to the Honorable Sean Duffy, Acting Administrator of NASA in Washington, D.C. Dear Administrator Duffy, The interstellar object 3I Atlas was discovered on my birthday, July 1st, 2025. It is expected to arrive at a distance of 53.6 million kilometers from Jupiter on March 16th, 2026. At this time, a rare opportunity to learn about the origin of such a large object that arrived at Earth's vicinity in the inner solar system from interstellar space. It is impossible to intercept 3I Atlas with a rocket launched from Earth because it would move at 98 kilometers per second relative to Earth at its passage near the sun. In a new paper led by Professor Avi Loeb, attached here, it was shown that applying a thrust of 2.675 kilometers per second on September 14th, 2025 can bring the Juno spacecraft from its orbit around Jupiter to intercept the path of 3I Atlas. It would be appropriate for NASA to accurately assess the fuel reservoir in Juno's engine and use all of it toward the goal of getting as close as possible to 3I Atlas at its closest approach in mid-March next year in 2026. This memo asks NASA to conduct the study. If insufficient fuel is left, observing 3I Atlas from the current orbit of Juno will also be of great value. The Juno spacecraft, named after the wife and sister of Jupiter in Roman mythology, was launched from Cape Canaveral on August 5th, 2011, and entered a polar orbit around Jupiter on July 5th, 2016, to conduct scientific measurements of Jupiter's composition, gravitational field, magnetic field, and polar magnetosphere. Juno was originally planned to be intentionally deorbited into Jupiter's atmosphere, but has since been approved to continue orbiting until September 2025. The close encounter of 3I Atlas to Jupiter provides a rare opportunity to shift Juno from its current orbit around Jupiter to intercept the path of 3I Atlas at its closest approach to Jupiter. The instruments available on Juno, namely near-infrared spectrometer, magnetometer, microwave radiometer, gravity science instrument, energetic particle detector, radio and plasma wave sensor, UV spectrograph, and visible light camera and telescope can all be used to probe the nature of 3I Atlas from a close distance. Let me get page 2 up here now. I'll get this around a little bit, and I think we'll maybe close to it. Here we go. Bring it up. Move it around. Make it a little bit bigger. All right, let's get to page 2. Loeb's analysis, see the attached paper, focuses on an intercept, namely a flyby, since rendezvous where the target's velocity is matched by the spacecraft is out of question, owing to the excessively high hyperbolic speed of 3I Atlas relative to Jupiter's 65.9 kilometers per second. The feasibility of intercepting 3I Atlas depends on the current amount of fuel available from the propulsion system of Juno. However, some inferences can be drawn from the total thrust available at the beginning of the Juno mission. On its interplanetary trajectory, Juno conducted 2 deep space maneuvers and 1 Jupiter orbital insertion, each of which would have placed a significant demand on the chemical propulsion employed by Juno, including hydrazine and oxidizer nitrogen tetroxide. The initial fuel reservoir on Juno allows for an overall initial velocity push available of 2.74 kilometers per second, similar to the velocity of 2.675 kilometers per second required to intercept Atlas. However, the similarity of these numbers motivated our paper. This value is similar to the required velocity for Juno to intercept Atlas. Although the engine of Juno was not operated since 2016, the required velocity might potentially be within Juno's performance envelope. In that case, Juno would be available to get close to 3I to Atlas and use its instruments to probe the nature of the interstellar object and any cloud of gas or dust around it. Of course, much of the fuel might have already been used. The attached paper shows applying the thrust of 2.6755 kilometers per second on September 9th, 2025, can potentially bring the Juno spacecraft from its orbit around Jupiter to intercept the path of Atlas. With Juno's many instruments, a flyby can probe the nature of Atlas far better than telescopes on Earth or in orbit, like the Hubble or the James Webb Space Telescope. The desired thrust constitutes a Jupiter-Oberth maneuver, which requires an application of velocity only 8 days prior to the originally intended termination date for Juno's plunge into the atmosphere of Jupiter. Having delivered the thrust to diminish Juno's altitude, a further velocity is subsequently delivered, constituting a Jupiter-Oberth maneuver and resulting in an eventual intercept of the target, Atlas, on March 14th, 2026. In total, an overall velocity of 2.1574 plus 0.5181 equals 2.655 kilometers per second utilized. It's recommended that NASA conduct a study to assess how much fuel is left in Juno's engines, and I support an extension to the Juno mission at least until mid-March 2026 at a cost of about $15 million per 6 months from the current expiration date of mid-September 2025. The exciting new goal to study Atlas will rejuvenate Juno's mission and extend its scientific lifespan beyond March 14th, 2026. Even if Juno's engine cannot be reactivated, Juno can gather unprecedented data on Atlas from its current orbit around Jupiter. There we go. Paulina Luna, member of Congress. She nailed this, Mike.
She did, and your initial assessment, I believe, was to be correct. There's no way in hell she wrote that letter.
Yeah.
This is definitely coming from Avi Loeb.
Avi Loeb or other scientists within her scope, friends of Avi maybe, that can help us get there. But I said it on Twitter when Avi M's first posted about this, and it's like, yeah, I agree with that because it makes sense.
And I agree with it as well. And I believe that if she feels this strongly about it, and we always know that it boils down to money in the end, she has time to propose legislation to fund NASA the additional $15 million to get this done. Now, if she was to do that, I think it might leverage NASA to agree, and if they have the funding, they can't deny it. They might be more enticed to agree to this and make this happen. So that might help. It's just a suggestion, but if she does that, this might be accomplished. And you're right. I agree with this. They should absolutely do this.
Yeah, absolutely. We're both in agreement. Let's see where the audience takes us. All right, we're going to go ahead and do a quick poll here. Let me take this down, get this up. All right. Get this one out of here and this one out of here. All right, let's see where our audience says. Let me go ahead, find that. Where is the logo sound? All right, let's see. Okay, audience. Hey, Google, set a timer for 1 minute and 30 seconds.
Sure. 1 minute and 30 seconds. And we're starting now.
All right, this is a pretty easy one, folks. Should NASA redirect the Juno probe to intercept 3I Atlas? So far, Mike, look at this. We've got a 97% of our audience is saying yes at this point. I don't think it's going to go much in the other direction at this point.
It really shouldn't. The audience seems to be right on the ball with what it is that's going on and what needs to be done at this point. I agree.
It makes complete sense. If we have an old asset that's up there that we can redirect and discover, and that's what NASA's about. It's about exploration, right?
Yeah, supposed to be.
Yeah.
But they need the funding, so she should have an emergency legislation put forward.
Well, hopefully they can dig into some money bag somewhere of money that they've gone and canceled and redirect it to this need. Michael Sokoloff, your hand is up.
Yeah, if NASA did redirect it to Atlas, would we ever see the results?
NASA, never a straight answer.
Secret, so, if they did, what would we get out of it?
Yeah.
If
True.
it's a big rock, like I suspect, they would probably share the results. But if in fact it does turn out to be something anomalous, well, then you're probably right, Michael. We probably won't hear a word about it.
Yeah.
And then who's to say these aliens land on planet Earth and it turns out they're only about 3 inches tall?
Oh yeah, that's an old Twilight Zone episode.
Oh,
Is
yeah.
it? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, Mike, with the sound of that timer that just went off here, our poll timer has extended, and I'm going to take a screenshot of this for posterity. Here we go, and our final answers are 95% of our audience said yes, NASA should redirect the Juno probe to intercept Atlas. I agree completely if I had voted. So with 119 votes in, thank everybody for participating. And the other way we're going to know if something potentially goes wrong, Mike, if when Atlas comes in, and it's going to be on the opposite side of the solar system from us to a big degree. If it comes in one side and doesn't go out the other side, then we know something's up. Definitely.
Or if it changes course, speed, or direction.
Oh,
well,
yeah.
That's a dead giveaway.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
It's not a rock anymore.
No, hell no. And you know what? There are a bunch of tests that they're going to figure out. They're going to get answers by the 5th. Hopefully we'll get some straight answers out of NASA or maybe the international space community for that matter.
Plus, I'm sure there are observatories that are tracking this object.
Oh, yeah.
So we'll figure it out, with or without them giving us a straight answer or not, one way or the other.
Oh, yeah. That's
We'll
what it's
see.
all.
It'll
That's
be
what it's all
interesting.
about, my friend.
Yeah, I agree. You're
All
right.
right, now jumping into my bookmarks of what the hell are we going to talk about today? Do I have this one here? Let me get this one here. All right, I'll start with this one. This is a funny one. JD Vance. Let me get this up here. This is coming from Fettuccine's Split or Disclosure Memes over on X. I love his account. Gotta love what the guy does. Let's get in here. All right. Coming to us. Welcome, UFO people. I guess that's JD Vance. JD Vance says he's focused on UFOs and will use the August recess to dig into the UFO thing from last year. What were all those videos about? What's actually happening? I haven't gotten to the bottom of it yet, but we're only 6 months in and we've been very busy. So people have been asking, where's disclosure? Why hasn't the Trump administration gotten to it yet? Could this be an answer to it? I don't know. It kind of sounds like it. Let's go ahead and play this short clip of an interview with JD Vance. Here we go. One more time.
The other thing is there are stories that I am particularly focused on, in part just because you talk with your buddies about it. Like, I'm obsessed with the whole UFO thing. What's actually going on? What were those videos all about? What's actually happening? I haven't gotten to the bottom of it yet, but we're only 6 months in. We've been very busy. That's actually the August recess is in part me going to try to dive to the bottom of the whole UFO thing from last year. So
I mean, you gotta have us back.
okay, I'll let you know. I'll let you know.
Well, there we go. At least we've got someone who's in office. Granted, it's not the commander-in-chief. It is the second in command, but he's not making fun of it. He's not cracking jokes, Mike. That's important for me.
Yeah, I agree. And there are, that I can see, two ways to look at this. One, we've already heard that the president's son, before the election, was very interested in this topic. And now we're hearing the vice president speaking that he's very interested in this topic. And it's interesting that people around the current president have such a strong interest in this. That's, potentially very interesting to see where they'll take that. But in the last 6 months, you and I are very well aware that this administration that made a lot of promises in regards to this subject and hasn't kept one of them. So I don't know if this is just stroking the public by claiming to have an interest in something they'll never follow through on, or if they have heard a couple of our episodes talking about how this administration doesn't seem to have any interest directly in any type of disclosure. Somebody must have sent them some links to the show That's what it sounds like to me. They're getting the message.
Yeah.
What will they do with it? I guess we'll find out.
Yeah. Time will tell, as people always say, but it's better to say, oh, I can't talk about that. Well, you have to talk to somebody else about that. He was actually laughing and, engaging with it, but he was laughing in a way along with it, but not against it. And, thank God.
Oh, you mean like Senator Kirsten Gillibrand, who was making fun of it to her constituents? No, he wasn't doing that.
Mm-hmm.
You're right. No, there is a difference. So, yeah, he seemed actually interested.
Yeah.
Not just with words, but by his, like you said, his mannerisms. He seemed like he was interested in this. I mean, I hope that's true. I'd like to see where it goes if he is. You never know.
Believe it or not, when Trump was running for office in September of 2024, I believe he made a statement about it. Let me go ahead and bring this up here of Vance at a rally and see what he has to say about this as well. So he's we're getting some consistency going on. That's what I like. Let's get to this. All right, here we go. Let's play this clip from UAP James.
I mean, look, there's a lot of crazy stuff you read about. I mean, one of these things, I don't know if you saw the story from a couple of years ago that like the Defense Department had declassified the UFO stuff. Did you see that? That was a crazy story. I don't talk about that because I have no idea what's going on. So my standard for whether I talk about something, Mike, is whether enough people that I trust bring it to me, at least to the point where I feel like I've got to investigate it myself, not just trust the media to do their job, because a lot of times they don't. So, by the way, very fascinated by it. I mean, look,
he's very, very fascinated by it. Sorry, it was far too quiet. I tried to get it kicked up, but at least we've got an idea that there has been some interest going on there for quite some time, Mike.
Yeah, and if that's true, I mean, look, even the president's son seems to be fascinated with this subject.
Oh, yeah.
But doesn't mean we've gotten anything out of the White House. I hope we do. I'd like to hear something come out of it from this. But the question then remains, can J.D. Vance get Donald Trump's attention on this subject enough to make him start declassifying government files, records, actually start moving forward on this subject? I'd love to see it. We're still waiting.
Yeah. Absolutely. Fingers crossed. We'll discuss this as time goes on again. Now, I saw this next clip. This takes us to a green blinking, could be USO. Was it? No, couldn't have been. All right, so I thought it was under the ocean, but it looks like it's a squid. It's something they're saying they saw through a telescope. I thought they were seeing this thing underwater, but clearly it's something that I have no idea what it is. Probably something fake, but interesting to say the least. Let's just go ahead and bring it up and have some fun with it. Where's that at? All right. So again, green squid UFO captured near Dallas, Texas on the 31st of July. Check out the squid looking object with great green blinking light in the sky seen through a telescope. Yeah, that's fake.
Yep.
But you know what? You got to point out the things that people are saying, look, it's a UFO. And you look, no, it's not. Great fake, though.
Right.
Let's move on to our next story on this one. Here we go. Next one. What do I have got going on? 3-Eye Atlas. Well, apparently, this is a new clip coming in. Let's bring this next one up. More whistleblower protections are coming across, Mike, which is good. It's for, let's bring this story up. Here we go. All right, so coming from Matt Laszlo over at Askapol, Senator Gary Peters and Senator Chuck Grassley presented a bipartisan bill to strengthen whistleblower protections for federal contractors, and it advances in the Senate, quote, explicitly prohibiting the waiver of whistleblower rights through non-disclosure agreements or employment conditions. Mike, wasn't this an issue with people who were coming forward and they were signing new NDAs with AARO that they were basically shutting down the whistleblowers from talking again?
They were. And if you tried to FOIA any of the testimony that they gave voluntarily to AARO, it was immediately classified under law enforcement exemption. So they were shutting down their testimony from the public. They were reinstituting new NDAs to make sure that these people did not come out publicly and speak anymore about the information that they had. Yeah, AARO was working in a way that was the opposite of what their function was when they began. So yeah, this, hopefully legislation like this would help to turn that around.
Yeah,
It's
and it
long
has advanced in
overdue.
the Senate. It sounds like it's gotten some approvals in the Senate to move forward. I guess that means they're going to have to send this to the House next.
Right, and then we're going to see who the new enemies are if there's any pushback in the House.
Right.
Mike Turner's gone.
Yeah,
so
thank
we're
God.
well aware of that.
If you
Oh,
remember,
yeah.
what did Mike Turner do in the past? He was in the Intelligence Committee, I believe,
The House HIPSI, House Permanent
Yeah.
Select Intelligence Committee.
from Ohio.
Yes, who was
Same-
the Mike Patterson Field. He was that was his jurisdiction.
Oh yeah, and he
Yeah.
got a lot of money from the deep state, the military-industrial complex, as far as I remember.
Lockheed Martin was
Oh, yeah.
one of his chief contributors. Plus, he was voted one of the most corrupt politicians in Congress. So yeah, that was a really good representative to have in Congress.
And that wasn't once. He got that award several times, didn't he?
Oh, I guess he did. Correct.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm glad they got rid of him. It's
Oh, yeah.
he didn't need to be in that position. He kept continuously shutting down the UAPDA.
Yeah.
Now we'll see who else will attempt to shut it down when it gets to the House. This
Oh.
will be interesting to watch.
It should be, my friend. It should be. I'm trying to find it now. In other UAP Disclosure Act news, we've got a clip here coming from ABC where Senator Rounds discusses the UAP Disclosure Act. He underscores that there are unexplainable cases, both visual and radar. These objects move faster than anything we have. National contractors he's spoken to can't explain it either. So let's get to this video clip here and open this one. External app. Got a clip of 1 minute 30 seconds from the interview edited down for us to go ahead and see. Let me go ahead and bring this up and let's play the clip and then react to it. All right, let's get to this. Here we go, folks.
And I saw this interview. I think that you did an interview recently with News Nation where you talked about the fact that you anticipate that you are going to re-release the UAP Disclosure Act. This is another bill that you're going to introduce. This is something that we talk about bipartisan. You know, previously you had introduced this bill with Senator Chuck Schumer.
Yeah.
I'm curious what kind of support you think you're going to get for this go around, and on top of that, if you could just kind of highlight some of the key disclosure takeaways from this and what this act would actually mean for getting some of this UAP information out.
Sure. Look, UAPs are items that we don't know what they are, or we haven't been able to identify what they are. There's a pretty strong agreement, I think, among most people that have studied this, that a lot of the sightings of items, what used to be UFOs, were probably U.S. aircraft that were being developed for the stealth programs, the F-117, the F-22, the SR-71, and so forth. But there are a number of other sightings, not just visible sightings, but also radar, catches over the last 20 years that we just can't explain. We've seen objects that move, more rapidly than any of the technologies that we've ever disclosed that we have. And I've talked personally to individuals in classified settings about items, and these are people that work for some of our national contractors who just simply say, this is what I saw. I don't want to talk about it publicly, but this is what I saw and I can't explain it.
Mike, as I had to run out to handle the dogs midstream, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, so he's saying that a lot of the military industrial contractors that he's spoken with have said that they've seen things and they can't explain what it is. That was the clip that he had you just played. That was his point. Well, it would depend on which contractors you're talking to.
Right.
So he didn't specify who exactly he was speaking with, so I'm not sure what to make of that, to be honest with you, Thomas.
Yeah, well, at least he's talking about it in a somewhat neutral to positive fashion, so I'll take it as a win no matter how we look at it.
Yeah, but if you remember back when AARO had claimed that they were investigating the private military contractors, right, and then they went around to, Lockheed, Raytheon, and they said, hey, you guys got anything in the basement you're hiding that you don't want us to know about? And they said, no, we don't. Oh, okay. Thank you for your time. I appreciate the help and the cooperation. And they came up with nothing. That was the extent of them looking into that.
Right.
So I hope it's not a repeat of that again.
Yeah, apparently that's not the only thing they've been hiding in their basements. Exactly. Let's get into our next story. Now we've got some stories coming to us from Askapol, Matt Laszlo. His first one he's actually talking with, believe it or not, he finally got in with crying Chuck Schumer. Unbelievable.
This is actually a good clip.
So I've got it right to the point where Matt should be done with his intro. We've got about 30-second clip, give or take. Let's go ahead and listen to it and see what we get out of it. Okay. Gotta let people know the truth is the title on this one, as Schumer reintroduces the UAPDA. Uh-oh. Jesus.
That's how you reintroduced your UAPDA. Yes, I did. Why? What's the importance of that? Gotta let people know the truth, whatever it is. Do you think it'll be easier to get it included without Mike Turner around? So, let's hope we have better chances. Yeah. Thank you.
Let's hope we've got a better chance this year.
Yeah. I could picture him in that small elevator with his granny glasses on, looking over the top of the glasses.
Yeah, I was just about to find a pair of glasses. I don't have one here, but I would, there we go. Yeah, the elevator. But hey, at least Matt Laszlo got an answer from him because James Fox couldn't get a word. All it was the glare over reading glasses. Yeah.
Got nothing. He let the elevator door close right in Fox's face.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of James Fox and UFO documentaries, any word about that groundbreaking The Age of Disclosure that was supposed to come out today? I saw James Fox retweet something from January today. Maybe it could be a hint that something's going to be happening with this soon?
Well, from what I'm aware of, recently on YouTube, James Fox's recent documentary, The Program, is free to watch on YouTube.
YouTube, Amazon, Netflix. He's got it everywhere.
For free.
For free.
I know. Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
So that whole Jason Sands things, it really was a
you had to bring him up, didn't you? We've having a good show up to this point, and you got to bring out the Sandman.
Well, yeah, because look at where the documentary is streaming, and look at the cost. That tells you what a big success it was.
Well, it's growing himself as a brand. Sometimes you have to give something away as free to get people interested in you long term, you know?
Yeah. Well, he's only been doing it 30 years, so I would imagine he really needs to get the word out as much as possible.
Yeah, exactly. Now let's get into our next piece coming from Matt Laszlo at Askapol UAPs. We got Senator Rounds talking about the UAPDA. Just to be clear, before we get into it, before we get excited, it has not come up for vote in the Senate yet to get it approved so they could send it to the House. But it sounds like what Senator Rounds is referring to, it's not they'll get it through the House, but they'll get it through the Senate, but the House is where the challenge is. Remember, the first year that the UAPDA came through, the amendment flew through the Senate, but it died in the House because of Mike Turner.
Right.
Next year, it didn't even get out of Senate. It failed in the Senate. They said it was Rand Paul or someone like that, or maybe good old Mitch McConnell. And I need to freeze for a minute, though, to try to get that there. One of the two poisoned it and prevented it from actually getting approved in a Senate vote. This year, it sounds like Senator Rounds is saying it's going to pass the Senate, but the House is where the challenge is. And don't forget, Mike, didn't we just get something from Representative Garcia a couple weeks ago saying, yeah, there's been a lack of interest from the leadership in the Oversight Committee from James Comer, and also referring to Mike Johnson, who's the head of, God, all this political shit. You got to love it, don't you, folks? Speaker of the House, yeah. Going ahead, yeah, and throwing his bullshit out there, and he's not that interested in it either. So let's hope that we can get the momentum in the Senate can follow through to the House. Come on, they got Jasmine Crockett from the Democrat side on the Disclosure Task Force. Man, if she can get her mouth going, maybe she can get some Democrat votes on it.
Maybe, and it was Robert Garcia who had stated there's no real interest in the House.
Did I not say it was Garcia?
To support this. Yeah.
Okay. Yes, I thought he said his name.
That's
if I was wrong,
you did. You just said it. But you said his last name. I threw in there first.
There we go. Thank you, sir. Appreciate that. So let's get to this next clip and see where it takes us. And by the way, folks, if you're having a good time, you're enjoying the show tonight so far, go ahead and give us a thumbs up. And if you're not giving us a thumbs down, and tell us in the show, either way, what you think about us. Please be gentle and friends, because you know what? It helps me and it helps you to go ahead and share this broadcast with more people. And we appreciate you. And Mike, we'd love to have a subscription. And what's our policy here?
Oh, well, the cost of subscribing is free. And we give you a double your money back guarantee with that. So it's a win-win situation.
Absolutely, my friends. So let's continue on with this clip. Here you go. I appreciate that little small bit here.
Project Preserve Death.
Wow, I'm sorry, everybody. If you have speakers with a lot of bass, it's going to be reverberating, and it's not me this time.
No! What's that?
Supposed to be dealing with NHR.
What happened? What happened to Olivia? Good question. She's just shirking her responsibilities.
This one publication, like Espresso, claims that Trump got a briefing on the program.
What program?
It's called like Project Preserve Destiny.
Oh no, he did it, Mike.
NHI.
He brought up Project Preserve Destiny.
Yes, sir, he did.
Oh my God, what is going on these days? It's like
something we covered. It came out recently in, believe it or not, a credible Italian news media outlet that had ran the story about Project Preserve Destiny. And in the article, they had claimed that sources provided information to them that the President of the United States wants to take special access programs out of the Department of Defense and bring them directly under the purview of the White House and the President of the United States. They refer to it as Project Preserve Destiny.
Yeah.
Yeah. But that was also the same information about a project that was in the Dan Sherman book that was released years ago.
Yeah.
Many years ago. That was a story of fiction.
Yeah, I know.
Right.
It gets there. Yes, John Smith, 7.2 surround. Yeah, I've got a speaker with 2 woofers and a tweeter over there and a sub. A speaker with 2 woofers and a horn tweeters on both, and a sub, and a big ass sub back here. And I've got, it's a 7-point whatever system. So yeah, it's rattling the windows. Let's play some more.
Non-human intelligence. Have you guys had talks with the White House on that language in UAPDA? Why not?
Well, never heard of it before.
Well, no, your language in UAPDA.
Oh, no reason to.
Because it hasn't moved here.
I think I'll just go ahead and vote, and I'll come back out and go back down, because I've got a meeting that I better be at.
Are you guys gonna?
I'm too busy. Leave me alone.
Oh yeah.
For that in the NDAA.
Yeah. Well, at least I want to anyway.
Because Congressman Burleson says he's in talks with your office about you guys still haven't found the best way to move that.
No, I think to just try it again the same way we did and see what happens. I mean, it came out of the Senate fine. It's in the House is where the challenge is.
Interesting, because some people are thinking it was McConnell that's been killing it, but it's in the House.
Yeah. Yeah.
Do you think maybe it was Turner and then the Turner's gone?
I don't know. I think there were folks that just didn't want to disclose anything that could be of a sensitive nature, and I agree with that.
Yeah.
And I hope that we had arranged not to have anything that was sensitive be released. And I thought this was a path forward, but I think people caught them by surprise last time around.
Yeah.
So I think we got a better shot this time.
Was Schumer involved at all?
Same as before.
Yeah. Not much. Thank you, sir.
Mike, I got he gave a little clue there. There are some things of a sensitive nature we didn't want to let out. Not referring to military, but some things of a sensitive nature. There you go.
So that's why they shot down the UAPDA the last
Yes,
time?
that's why it's been shot down. There are things of a sensitive nature that they don't want to let out. That is the headline.
Yeah, that's actually very interesting. But he didn't mention if it was UAP related or new advanced technology. That
Well, the whole
government had.
UAPDA is about bringing out only stuff about UAP, nothing to deal with military disclosure. And if they find out in the investigations, the only thing that should be released is stuff where they know that it's a UAP, right? Just like AARO. If AARO does investigations, anywhere their investigation, they come out and say, no, this is a drone, this is something else, it's not a UAP. They're supposed to immediately give it off to a different division.
That was the intent, yes. But it didn't turn out that way. Not with AARO.
Intent never really predicates action, does it?
No, it never does. Plus, they changed the language in the UAPDA now that it has to be evidence beyond a reasonable
Oh, come
doubt
on. Let me go ahead. Give me a second. I
out.
got to get this one up. I was just trying to look for that one to bring up next. Yeah, but actually, I believe this language may have been in there. I know Ivan Hanel had posted and brought this stuff out.
He highlighted it, yeah.
He highlighted. I know I've got it here somewhere. Nope, not that one. Got to go. It's way down in there. Got to bring up that one. Got to bring up that. Oh, that's a good one. Got to cover that one. Here we go. Got a bunch of stuff to cover. We've got like an hour left. I think we'll keep our audience. Get your seats glued in, my friend. All right, so here we go. Coming from Ivan Hanel. He's not the attorney to the stars. He's the attorney to Lou Elizondo, I believe.
Yes, he is, and
So?
other people as well. He's an active disclosure attorney.
Yeah. Rumor has it his account got hacked like Lou Elizondo's. He followed a phishing thing. He clicked on it, and he lost his account for a bit.
He's still locked out of it.
Oh, my.
He complained to X, but they haven't done anything one way or the other yet.
Yeah. So let's get into what Ivan's telling us here. The UAPDA requires the review board to use, quote, beyond a reasonable doubt, end quote, as the standard for evaluating UAP. What evidence has met the standard so far? Consider what that means for the future of UAP if the UAPDA were to pass. What would ever come to light? So we're saying here the actions of the review board in carrying out subsection B, the review board shall consider and render decisions. 1. Whether the material examined constitutes technologies of unknown origin or biological evidence of non-human intelligence beyond a reasonable doubt.
There you go. Right
Oh,
there.
God.
That's the hook.
Can they
Now-
acquit?
Yeah. If it doesn't fit, you must acquit.
Yeah.
I know.
So
That's what
whether
it
the
sounds
material examined constitutes technology, oh my God. And whether recovered technologies of unknown origin, biological evidence, or non-human intelligence or a particular subset of material qualifies for postponement of disclosure under the division. So that's postponement is, we've got some stuff here, but it's too shocking. We can't put it out. So we're going to postpone it for what, 20 years?
25.
25 years. That's why the biggest thing, Carl Nell's document, and I will say it again, Carl Nell wrote the UAPDA. He is the person, he is Mr., controlled disclosure. This will keep the truth, even if it's there, from hitting the public, well, maybe until the time we die, Mike, maybe later.
Well, the JFK legislation originally, wasn't it postponed indefinitely at one point?
Well, yeah, that was postponed indefinitely by President Biden at the time. It came up to Trump in 45, and when he was the 45th president, he postponed it until the next president. The next president said, "Oh, you know what? We're never going to get this out. Let's go ahead and make it so this never gets to a president again in the future." And he permanently postponed it.
Right. So legislation like this, the way that it's designed, means that they can kick the can down the road as long as they want.
Yeah, unfortunately so.
That's not a
controlled
good
disclosure, my ass.
Exactly. More like catastrophic is what we
Yeah,
really
we need catastrophic disclosure. All right, that's that. You know what? Let's go ahead and poll the audience on this one. We already know where we're going to go. We're going to say we're going to do a poll. I prefer regarding this UFO disclosure / NHI disclosure. I prefer disclosure. CATASTROP. Sorry for the noise of the keyboard, but I love it. All right, let's go ahead and take this to the audience. We already know where the audience is going to go. The poll has been started. Let's get to it. Hey, Google, set a timer for 1 minute and 30 seconds, please.
Okay, 1 minute and 30 seconds.
All right. All right, audience. This is your chance to go ahead and vote. I know Friends on Television Sets, which represents a third of our audience, probably can't go ahead right now and actually vote, but we'll take your vote and throw it into catastrophic disclosure. So far, Mike, with 55 votes in, 93% of our audience is voting for catastrophic disclosure. Do you ever think we'd hit that point?
No, that's actually a large percentage of the audience agrees with us about catastrophic disclosure.
Yeah.
Good for them.
Yeah.
They're smart.
Andy, what do you think? Voting from the United Kingdom, catastrophic or controlled?
Definitely catastrophic. It's the only way to go.
Absolutely. Laura Campbell, what say you? Catastrophic or controlled?
Catastrophic. I'm tired.
Yeah. Our recliner in chief, Ed Brown, what say you? Controlled or catastrophic?
I'd say catastrophic, just like everybody else back
there. All right. That's taking us down to 28 seconds left in our polling. Yes, we actually have a panel back there. They've just been quiet today. You feeling all right, Ed?
Oh, yeah, I'm just reclining.
Oh, there you go. Yeah. Must be nice. Yes, and there we go. But, Mike, I am a little surprised. We got 13 seconds left to go ahead and vote to close out this. I didn't think we'd have, I guess we're getting about 10, 11% of our audience saying they want controlled disclosure. Now 12. Wow.
Really?
Yeah.
That's really interesting. 10%, huh?
Yeah, 10%. Actually, the final number, 11% of our audience said they preferred controlled disclosure. Hey, if you voted and you said you wanted controlled disclosure, I'm going to turn on the auto chat so it's up there right now. Let me get this down here, shrink this down a little bit. Tell us why. I'd love to hear why. Coin405, thank you for that super chat. I'd love to hear why, audience, why you would want to have controlled disclosure. If you can tell us in the chat, we'd love to go ahead and have it. I've got the auto chat turned on, so yeah, people are saying hit that like button. Amy NES says catastrophic. Yeah, but we had some people out there saying they wanted controlled. Mike, I'd love to understand why some people would want to have controlled disclosure.
I don't know, but we are talking about, according to the poll, 11 out of every 100 people would not want to have direct disclosure. I really would like to know why they feel that way.
I know. Prevent Project Blue Balls. Peter Tremulous is saying less disruptive. But I think no matter how you bring it out, it's going to be disruptive, I guess.
It is.
Where the hell did everything go?
Any revelation of this scope and nature is going to be something that's going to be culture shock for a lot of people.
Yeah. Someone just said here, Todd T said catastrophic disclosure might wreck the markets and people's savings and retirement. That's one concern for catastrophic disclosure. Controlled disclosure, on the other hand, from Eli McGinnis says, is non-disclosure. What else we have out here? We can't control anything, Terrence Wills says, and never have. That's true, especially when it comes to the non-human intelligence. They've been in control all along. Ed Brown, your hand is up. What say you?
Well, it reminds me of what Lou said, years ago, a year ago or more. We may not be the alpha species here, and I think that's the concern with a controlled disclosure, is the concern that something may leak out and prove that there's an ontological shock, like a lot of people talked about, and it'll just destroy everything. So if we're not the alpha species, and the alpha species is coming down to let us know they're in charge, that may be a bit scary.
Yeah, well, I guess, we're not at the top of the food, not just the alpha. They were, what was the statement, Mike? We're not the top of the food chain, which means we're on the menu.
Right.
Yeah.
Or in a zoo, at the very least.
Yeah. Megan Betts says, I prefer truthful disclosure right now and non-catastrophic. Well, I
You
got
can't
you.
have your cake and eat it too.
That's true. My disclosures seemed pretty catastrophic when I was a teenager. I could say that was the same thing when I was 5 years old. Yeah, but it changes you, and I've gotten over that. I've had a long time to get over that one. I would say the world needs a market wrecking, reset house prices, etc. Yeah, it's not the house prices that are at control right now. It's also the interest rates, which they won't lower, which makes it so people can never afford to buy or refinance their house. No matter how this plays out, it's going to be a big deal. Yeah. Didn't Lou say we're not the top of the food chain? That's correct. Howling Husky, we brought that up. We legit just need a visitor to make it present while a global broadcast is live worldwide, and then the government can hide shit. Yeah. I would say better than the Super Bowl. How about the FIFA World Cup? That's earthly.
Yeah. But if the President of the United States made an announcement, it would be replayed in every country on Earth, so nobody would miss it.
Yeah.
They would hear it.
Firefly calls us.
The world would know.
Firefly with Lucy in the football. There's a very symbolic. That's Lucy with disclosure in her hand. And every time Charlie Brown comes to kick the football, Lucy pulls it away, and you're not going to get disclosure. Am I right, Mike?
Yeah. Oh,
yeah.
We've talked about this for a long time now.
Yeah. John Smith says we're not alpha. So what can okay, so what? One can learn from smarter. Yeah, we can be smart about this. Anything else? Aliens are vegetarian. LOL. I don't know. Probably not. Unless they don't eat our meat. They eat our consciousness. That could be the kicker. Don't go into the light when you die. Don't go up the stairs, through the doorway, into the light. Get the hell out of there, turn away and run. Trust me on that one. All right. Well, now I've lost where I'm at. This is a good conversation, Mike. We're having a fun time here today.
Yeah.
Like we usually do.
A fun conversation. Yeah, that's true.
Oh,
and it is Friday, so yeah.
Hey, Mike,
needs to relax.
Is there anything that made it be Fuck You Friday for you today?
Actually, no, not really. Yeah,
I had mine all day, and it finally came clear what I was concerned about and everything. I told you I was just kind of anxiety, I wasn't sure what was going wrong and stuff. And I found out. Remember that huge paper I put together for work, that 19-page document that nobody ever looked at?
I remember. We talked about it extensively.
Oh, and I was just heads down fighting to get this thing done over a week ago, and it's been sitting in someone's desk all that time. Oh, yeah. Got the message today saying, oh, we need to have that approved by Tuesday. Did you submit it yet? And it's like, well, I've been waiting for feedback. Have you given me any yet?
Right.
Off my plate and onto somebody else's. All right. What else do we've got going on here? No, we got a new one. No, where's that at? We've got other news here. All right, so this is interesting. You know, Middle of Mayhem, Mr. Stephen Greenstreet from the New York Times, the video editor, as people refer to him from the New York Times, right? I mean, New York Post, not the Times, the Post. It's more like the Sun.
Right.
All right, he had some actual testimony here. Where is this at? That I saw. Where Philip submitted some. Let me see if I can find this. All right. See if this is okay. Remember how in the initial UAP, oh, sorry for the pulsing logo in the back, it's dead now. Back in the day, we've talked about this time and time again. In the initial papers, the initial law that gave us AARO, right? They were supposed to have a team of scientists, technicians, different people that on a dime could jump on a cargo plane and fly to anywhere at any time, right? And investigate what the hell's going on with sightings that are happening at military or government sites around the world.
Right.
And since then, we haven't heard shit from Shinola about it. Not one peep. Ever. It's never been discussed. And I've always been saying, where the hell is this? This is something we're supposed to have. But it's never materialized. And that just kind of showed us that, yeah, AARO had all these different things they're supposed to go ahead and do, but there's no teeth in any of the laws. There's no accountability for them to go and do this stuff, right?
Right.
So, Stephen Greenstreet actually did the job of a good reporter, and he got some info out of it, which I am impressed. Because it's not just bullshit to say this isn't real. It's actually some decent questions from someone who is actually operating, in this case, as a reporter, which is, yeah. That's another shocking thing today. I've got another hat here I'm going to have to eat.
Yeah.
So let's get into it. All right. Coming from Stephen Greenstreet, also known as Middle of Mayhem on X in the last day or so. And was this from yesterday, July 31st? Tim Phillips says a nuclear retaliatory missile site reported multiple UFOs over the facility. AARO immediately flew out a team of scientists to investigate. They were then able to identify the UFOs. So, Tim Phillips, who's the former interim director of AARO, said, we've actually developed a team where if we have an incident, especially at a sensitive site, snaps fingers overnight, using commercial air, we'll get a team of scientists and military operators to carry cases full of imaging equipment, and we'll get them on a plane overnight to try to capture whatever that incident was in near real time so we can understand it. And we've had some really great success doing that. This is the first time, Mike, that I have actually heard this.
Yeah. I haven't
we
heard
that
either.
This. Yeah.
The entire time. Must be a secret they're keeping from the public.
Yeah, I'm not sure why they didn't talk about it. We got to deal with Mr. Grimlock's thing in a second. He wants a quick sentence about the Area 51 fires. We have to go ahead and look that up really quick and see what happened, Mike. Hint, hint, wink, wink. Let's move on here. We had an incident at one of our nuclear retaliatory missile sites. So it was a very sensitive place. We started getting the images, and our scientists recognized the UFOs as a glint coming off a satellite. And it was actually some of Elon Musk's stuff, and that was the source. That's fine. Oh, the SpaceX satellites. Yes, exactly. That's what they were picking up. But what we were able to do was get out there in the field, image it, and work with the security on site. And by the way, here's a computer program where you can model it yourself and help educate. So, he's not saying what it is. So Greenstreet goes on. So there was a secret base, and they were seeing UFOs in the sky at this base, this nuclear facility. What's interesting here is if you have a military professional seeing something, not knowing what it is, and needing to call on you guys. So you guys come in there and you point out that it's just Elon Musk's satellites in the sky, right? We did, right. And also the International Space Station coming over the horizon. So even though this is bullshit and it wasn't anything, he's not talking about anything that's real, we're getting details because he's saying it was, and we're able to give them the tools. And one of the things we're doing now is we're actually doing a procurement to try and get some of these hyperspectral cameras in the hands of the force protection specialists out there at these sensitive sites so they can capture it in real time. I call this good, because although he's talking about an incident where they're saying, oh no, it was Starlink, or potentially it was the ISS, which I'm not believing that in the slightest, at least they're starting to give the people at these locations the equipment they need to be able to analyze this stuff.
Right. But we didn't even know they had teams that were mobile, or they had the equipment.
This is the first time it's been announced. It was in the legislation. I've always challenged it and said, where the hell are they? Why didn't this stuff ever come to be? Granted, they don't have a cargo jet that they jump onto when they fly them out. They're doing over commercial air. It's cheaper, and they can get them out there faster potentially.
Commercial air can travel faster than military jets.
Well, if they have people at different locations, everybody can go get on a commercial airliner and the next one that's flying out and get to that location instead of having to get to a military base, fly them all to another base where they all come together and they fly out there.
Yeah, it sounds like if it was AARO is part of the Department of Defense.
Yeah.
They could technically use military equipment and travel if they wanted to.
Yeah.
So,
but if you're keeping the costs down and they want to get people there faster and the people already have the equipment with them and they know they could be deployed at a second's notice, they can jump on the next flight out and get there.
Yeah.
But as long as they're not flying first class, it's a hell of a lot cheaper than flying a whole cargo jet. I tell you that.
And we still don't know what their budget is. It's been in secret the whole time.
Oh, yeah. Can't release that, my friend. It is a double not secret.
Mm-hmm. That's the one.
Oh, yeah. Well, if we get into what else we have going on here in the roundup of UFO news, I'll leave that one out. Well, I'm not sure if people have seen this. Apparently, there is a crater or something that's on Mars.
Are you talking about they found caves?
No.
Entrances on Mars? That I saw that the other day.
No, not that one. Let me get to it, Mike. Here we go. There are 3 perfectly spaced cone-shaped towers on the surface of Mars.
Okay.
And this is how the satellites image them from 3D scans from the sky. And apparently, the configuration of these is similar to the Great Pyramids that we have in Egypt, where it mimics the 3 belt stars on Orion, but this is on Mars.
So that means that's not naturally occurring rock formation, right?
Well, what do you look like? What do you think, Mike? Does this look naturally occurring to you?
No, it doesn't.
Not a chance in hell.
But they didn't make that announcement, did they?
No,
people say we found a non-naturally occurring structure. No, they just said, look, cones.
No, that was just in the feed. They didn't announce anything.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah. Now, what would a structure like this be? Well, it kind of looks like the Eye of Saruman, kind of. What would they need to be up there from to go ahead and observe and see what's going on? Potentially gather if there was lightning back in a time to get it to strike the lightning and give energy for what's below, or a transmitter. Who knows? But it's very, very interesting. One of these things you can't just look up and say, "Oh no, it's termite hills." That would mean there are termites on Mars.
Right. That would mean they have life.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. But there is no life on Mars, according to
NASA.
No.
There's no life outside of outside of our planet.
Right.
Can't upset religion. This is the center of the universe. We're all the only planet, the only time that the Son of God came in all of eternity to our one planet, and everywhere else is all going to rot in hell. Sorry, I digress, but it's one of those things you just listen to, and it's like, okay.
Right. Religious doctrine.
We got
David Grush had testified publicly under oath that back in 1933 in Magenta, Italy, the Pope got directly involved in turning that craft over to the United States at the end of the Second World War.
Yeah.
So much for religion.
Yeah.
The truth doesn't come out. They're very good at keeping things quiet.
Yeah.
The Vatican.
Yeah.
I believe the point about religion, right, Thomas?
Yeah. Oh, God. And I can't share this tweet. I actually shared a tweet with you before, Mike, talking about a special high-ranking member of the Dindus.
Okay.
All right, we got JB Vance, we got that covered. We got that one covered. I thought there was another one in here. Oh, yeah, here we go. We actually have some news coming from the UAP Disclosure Fund. While it's been really quiet since Matt Ford and Lou Elizondo left the UAP Disclosure Fund, let's get into. Oh, by the way, Mike, did you watch the interview on that UAP podcast out of United Kingdom that came out in the last day or so, where it had Ivan Hanel on there?
I did. It was an hour and 45 minutes, and Andy McGrillen did a really good job. Well, he usually does.
Was there any additional information passed on about Lou in that podcast? Because I didn't get a chance to watch it yet, and I think our audience, we covered that last week, and there were a lot of people who were concerned about Lou. Was there anything else that was disclosed?
Well, from what I remember of the podcast, Ivan had shared that Lou has taken a step back from his book tour after the fiasco that had occurred, which Andy was asking him about. And he said that Lou is now addressing health issues at home. And recovering to get back on his feet, and he should be fine.
Yeah, that's where I was personally concerned, because you see someone lose so much weight in a couple months period of time. Our heart goes out to Lou, Jennifer, and his family and everything, and we wish you the best recovery of what's going on, my friend. But we knew something just didn't feel right, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, I know exactly what you mean.
Yeah.
But I believe Lou is going to be okay.
Yeah.
And that's really all that matters. He's, like you pointed out, he's returning to his book tour in September, right?
Oh, yeah. And by the way, we're going to have to figure this out. We've got 3 tickets up front, center, that we're going to do a giveaway for, Mike. We got to figure out how to work it out. We're going to have to find people who are going to be willing to, or in the Northern California area, because it's like a half an hour east of San Francisco and such. But we've got 3 tickets that we're going to go ahead and give away. Yeah.
We'll let the audience know how the contest is going to go moving forward.
Yeah. Absolutely, my friends. We'll figure that one out pretty soon. All right, so let's get into this next story here. All right, coming to us, the UAP Disclosure Fund. We are honored to announce, there he is, Mr. Matthew Pines has joined the UAP Disclosure Fund's advisory board. His long track record in strategic intelligence and national security analysis will be invaluable to our push for transparent, evidence-driven UAP policy. Proud to join the UAP advisory board, coming from a statement from Mr. Pines of the UAP Disclosure Fund to help drive informed public policy on this vexing, pressing issue. UAP are no longer fringe. They're a matter of national security, scientific inquiry, and democratic accountability. By uniting professional voices across science and policy, we can help our institutions confront this challenge with rigor, integrity, and transparency. It's almost like, I'd say, getting Matt Pines to join the UAP Disclosure Fund is almost as equivalent to getting Merrick von Rennenkamp to join the Soul Foundation.
Yeah. But just so you know, Matthew Pines is also a member of Skywatcher.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, Skywatcher. There were some rumors going on about Skywatcher, that they were actually shut down by the government earlier this week, and potentially that they have been infiltrated. Did you catch up on any of those things? Or at least these are the back conversations that have been going out there. I can't mention names or where this came from, but yeah, it sounded very interesting. But there was a post that came out from Skywatcher today. Let me go ahead and find this one, Mike, and we'll bring it up. I know it's somewhere near the top of my tweets. Where the hell is that? Oh, here we go. All right. Coming to us from the Skywatcher community, we got a thread here. Let's go ahead and let's get into it. All right. From Skywatcher HQ, going to the Skywatcher community. Let's make this a little bit bigger for our audience and move this over a little bit. All right. The Skywatcher team is continuing to aggressively collect data and move through the process outlined in the Discovery Framework. We've now engaged multiple high-quality, independent third-party groups to provide a thorough scientific analysis. Because if you remember, Mike, about the same time last week, there was a video that was leaked from Skywatcher on their website that prompted Skywatcher to shut down their web portal completely to clean up the mess. It sounds like maybe someone made a mistake or Skywatcher was infiltrated by someone who's tired of the cover-up, even from Skywatcher, and they want to get the truth out to the public. I think, honestly, it sounds to me like there was a disclosure advocate or activist within Skywatcher who said, screw this shit, let the public know what's going on.
It would be about fucking time with that, because they've been dragging their ass since they publicly came out, and we haven't gotten a shred of evidence of what it is that they're doing.
No, not at all.
Right. So, yeah, some activists must have decided to leak that information. They had a data leak.
And I'm not going to call someone who was infiltrated from the government. I'm going to call this person a disclosure activist. Kind of like we have, Greenpeace advocates and all these different people who are out there who are activists to try and move forward something that's been held back improperly. I think that's what we're dealing with here, and I hope we've got more in there, honestly.
Yeah, well, I think they leaked everything that they could get out to the public, and it wasn't much that I saw.
No,
that they were actually
some
doing.
videos. I was talking about the stuff we covered that last week, but you know what? It's not. It wasn't the egg.
No, thank God.
Oh my God!
We didn't get to see Stephen Greer's egg again.
Yeah. So we are attempting to condense a scientific process that usually takes well over a year in a few short months. Well, they've got someone who's one of the founders and the people behind them, funding them potentially, Dr. Gary Nolan.
Yep.
Please understand that the corpus of data that we've collected is extremely large. We appreciate your patience as this work proceeds. You know who that reminds me of?
Who?
The original UAPX that was out there that did all the stuff that was in, but they got some good video and stuff coming off the Channel Islands and Catalina Island down in the LA basin out in the ocean and stuff, and they got a lot of good stuff. But for them, it was always out. We're going to release it. We're going to release it. We're going to release it. But there's so much data here. We've got to go through all of it. We got to peer review. We got to get it out there. Dr. Kevin Knuth was, he still hasn't released all the data of what they had. So let's hope it's not going to go down that path.
Well, didn't they also make the announcement of that mile-long UFO that they?
No, that was actually coming from, who was it? Is it SCU?
SCU, that's it.
Yeah,
You're
the
right.
SCU. This is a paper that was supposed to come out over a year ago. Was it 2 years ago now? That there were multiple commercial air pilots who, over the Pacific from different locations, observed and had footage of a UFO that was over a mile in length. After that initial press release, so the information was supposed to come out a couple months later. We're talking almost a couple years later now, and they still haven't released anything or addressed it again. Even more so, the latest SCU conference, Mike, they completely shut down. Usually by now we would have a bunch of videos that would come out that everyone on the internet could go ahead and see. And this year, it's been nothing.
Dead.
Deader than a doornail.
Dead.
Yeah.
Yep. Well, that shows you where disclosure currently is right now.
Well, we're coming into August, my friends. It's gonna be a hot and horrible trek across the desert without any water, with minimal water. So,
and no shade.
Oh God, yeah.
Yeah, it's going to be this month particularly is going to be very slow.
Yeah, the doldrums of August. We might miss some shows here or there, but, we'll keep it going as much as we can. Let's get to the rest of this. So our objective remains the same. And moving forward, we will create a clear delineation between media releases and formal scientific analysis. Just you got videos, you've got the information out there. Share with people up front. Let your scientists and the global scientific community get in there and figure out what it is. Don't pull a Lou, please. Please ignore the unsubstantiated claims or gossip, which they've been infiltrated or that they've been shut down, which historically has done nothing, has done this entire space an immense disservice. Yeah, but you know what? When someone's quiet for a long period of time, people, Mike, are going to start talking. So this leads to Skywatcher to say, keep the information flowing and frequently. So part 3 on psionics is complete. And going through the appropriate editing and review process, we're confident you will really enjoy it. More very soon. Well, the average Chris, who is a debunker out there, says it's been 6 months at least since you promised evidence that your psionic assets can bring UFOs to the ground, and there is still zero evidence to support this claim. Is this going to happen? And I hate to say it, the average Chris Mike is actually hitting this ball out of the park.
He is.
They said they could go ahead and bring a UFO and cause it to land with their psionic team, and we haven't seen anything.
They've never done it.
Yeah.
Never done it.
We ain't seen nothing yet.
No. And we called that out from day one as soon as they made those claims. And they have not followed through on it the entire time.
Yeah. And there's
Nor will they.
Yeah. Another, Rebus says, I mean, the issue with the data were provided to you very soon upon release. Are you engaging with the people that pointed out the problems from the start who were not met with it, with maybe the best responses for fixing the problems? Who are the third-party groups? Yes, there's a bunch of vague things going on.
Yeah. Weren't they originally complaining that their equipment wasn't up to speed, their cameras weren't working right? They had a lot of excuses that they were putting out there from what I remember.
Yeah, they
Have
were.
they resolved any of it? We don't know.
I don't know. So I've got a question here. I need to go into a place here really quick and I need to ask the intelligence what's going on with the fires. Okay, so there were some questions about the fires that went on in Area 51 starting on July 1st. So, what do we have to talk about it? Let's get into the details. This was actually brought up by Mr. Grimlock. Could he do a quick sentence about Area 51 fires? The kid arrested for flying into Antarctica. I love you even more. Okay. So there's also a kid who's trying to fly around the world, an Asian kid, maybe he's Chinese or Japanese, flying around. And as he was flying around, he wanted to go ahead and land in Antarctica. And when he did, he broke international treaties and his ass was taken to jail, Mike. Go figure.
For flying, what was he flying?
He flew a small plane, like a Cessna, something to that degree, and he landed in Antarctica at a restricted airfield.
And they arrested him for
They arrested him,
landing in a
yes.
restricted airfield?
Yeah.
That sounds like overkill to me in a very desolate part of the earth.
Yeah, it does. So that was the first part of this. The other part is getting into what happened with the fire near Area 51. So let's get into it. Beginning around the 4th of July, a lightning strike ignited what came to be known as the Gothic Fire, Nevada Test and Training Range, the massive restricted military Air Force base that includes Area 51. Over the next 10 to 14 days, the fire expanded rapidly, eventually burning 30 to 36,000 acres of remote desert terrain. Now, the Bureau of Land Management and the U.S. Air Force crews have since shifted to a contain and hold strategy, focusing on protecting sensitive installations. As of mid-July, containment had reached around 10%, and no evacuations were issued. Although the blaze has remained well within restricted military property and hasn't threatened public structures, its proximity to Area 51, roughly 15 to 20 miles away, has prompted considerable online speculation. Well, Mike, we'll just take into consideration. It's not that it's just the Area 51 that's there. That's the Nevada Test Range, where there have been countless nuclear tests done above and below ground, meaning that a lot of the ground and the floor on the ground could potentially contain leached materials from the ground that are toxic. So you have this not just a wildfire, but you've got a toxic wildfire going on.
Right. Because when they did nuclear testing back in the day during the Second World War,
and
all
beyond,
of that radioactive material didn't go away.
Yeah.
Got like a 10,000 year half-life. So any type of natural occurrence or wildfire like this is going to put all that shit up into the air.
Yeah.
Not good.
So while it's kind of near Area 51, That's the red herring. Forget about that. You got to look at what's going on, what's burning. Why don't they have fire crews out there? They're just going to let this thing burn out. But more importantly, what's the threat to the surrounding communities of this fire going up and all this smoke, and what kind of chemicals or radiative materials might be a part of it?
That's true.
Yeah.
But they're not handling it that way.
Are you surprised?
No, I'm not surprised at all.
Yeah. Neither am I. Let's see if there's anything else we haven't covered here today. I think we've got about everything out there. We've covered the stuff with senator rounds. We got the stuff with, I should just bring up, no, I can't do that. We've got the stuff with President Vance. VP Vance. I know you guys don't like some politics stuff, but the problem is, Mike, disclosure is like mixed up with politics, and there's no way of getting around it.
No, because it's the government that has been suppressing this information for 80 years plus, which is politics. That's the nature of the government. There's no way around that.
Oh, yeah.
Like it or not.
Yeah. I think. So, one thing we haven't covered yet that's out there, it has not been released yet by the Soul, and as soon as it does, there's another video we're going to want to cover, because this week, for paid subscribers from Soul, let's go ahead and bring this up. Yes, the Soul Foundation had an interview with Chuck McCulloch live, and it did take place. I didn't get a chance to watch this because this stuff goes on during my regular working hours, but interesting to see that Chuck McCulloch was there. Now, he was the first ICIG, right? The Intelligence Community Inspector General. And he actually, for a while, he was David Grush's personal attorney. He left his law firm to go represent David Grush.
Yeah, he was representing at the July 26th, 2023 UAP hearing, David Grush. He was his personal attorney.
Yeah. So videos on this coming forward. Nothing to report on yet, though, but when it gets out there, it's something to maybe look forward to in the next week, Mike. I hope so.
Oh, I hope so, too. There might be some good breadcrumbs he's leaving in there.
Oh, yeah. No, I got that. Can't show that. I think, Mike. Is there anything else we haven't covered today, my friend?
No, I think we're good.
Yeah. On that note.
Yeah.
On that note, I want to go ahead and thank everybody for your wonderful super chats today. Wow, thank you very much. July was a great month. We appreciate it. We're a fan-funded program. We appreciate everyone's love and support for what we do here at Disclosure tonight. I want to thank our members of the chat who have given us super chats, including Brendan England, who said, "Cheers, Thomas and Mike." The Coin 405 said, "Come and visit us. We have the cookies. Hit the like button." As well. Mr. Grimlock said, could you do a quick sentence about Area 51 fires and the kid arrested for flying to Antarctica? I love you even more. Well, hopefully you'll love us even more. We covered it. And then we had Matthias Wolkenstein say, maybe disclosure might involve that metaphysical idealism is true and our reality is a mental consciousness construct, even more radical than just NHI. How about that, Mike? I want to thank you and everyone in the audience and everyone in the back for coming in today. Thank you especially, Mike. I appreciate it always.
Oh, my pleasure, my friend. It was a hell of a conversation, a lot of fun. And thank you for doing all the work that you do to make this possible.
Yeah. Well, Mike, as we usually say then at the end of every broadcast of Disclosure tonight, eyes open, no fear. Oh, we just got a super chat coming in from Liz W. As always, thank you for a great informative show. Thank you, Liz W., for that last minute super chat. Before I said at the bottom of the show, eyes open, no fear, be safe, everyone. But
go back to Party City where you belong.
Absolutely. We'll catch you on the flip side. Good night, everybody. Love you. See you soon. Take care now. Bye-bye.